Wes, how you doing?
Pretty good.
So my company loves Rainbird. We work with all the controllers, ME3s, the TM2s. This looks very similar to the ME3. Can you tell me a little bit more about this controller?
Sure. So you're right. This is Rainbird's new ESP-2WIRE controller. And you're right, it is very similar because it is built on the same chassis as the ESP ME3.
But Wes, we've stayed away from 2-wire because it's expensive. You got to buy, special wire nuts, different components. Decoders are very, very difficult and confusing. Why should I install a 2-wire controller?
Great question. This controller has a lot of features that are much more advanced than a standard 2-wire controller. As I said, this is a 50-station controller. It does still require decoders, but it does not require grounding in the field. And it can also be run with standard 18-gauge, 14 or 16-gauge wiring and standard waterproof irrigation wire connectors that you guys are probably going to have on your truck anyway.
Very nice. Wow. Now, can we see the inside? I mean, my guys are very familiar with the Rainbird controllers. Is it going to confuse my guys?
Again, great question. So one of the main purposes of this controller was a very similar layout to the ESP ME3 controller. The dial positions are all the same with the exception of the 2-wire setting.
Wow.
The screen and all the buttons have a very similar layout.
So you're saying if my guys are very familiar with the ME3, are they going to be able to
Absolutely.
program this controller?
The programming is very similar to the ESP ME3 as well as the TM2 controller.
Very nice. Wow.
I'm going to go ahead and open it up and show you the inside of the controller. So you'll notice we have the optional ability to add the link Wi-Fi stick, terminals for a rain sensor and a flow sensor, 2 different wire paths, as well as a grounding lug for you to be able to ground the controller. Again, even though I said field grounding is not required.
Very cool. Now, Wes, decoders. I mentioned my guys have a hard time with that. I don't want them spending hours programming each decoder. Is that the same thing with this controller?
No, it's not. And that's one of the best features of this controller. So when you go to the 2-wire setting, after the decoders are wired up in the field, you go to the 2-wire settings and there's a feature called auto addressing.
Okay.
It will scan the entire 2-wire path, input all of the decoder addresses and assign them numerically to a station.
I like that. Now, can we see a decoder?
Sure. So here's one of the standard decoders. It is going to be a much lower cost decoder.
Okay.
It has the ability to peel this label off and stick it in the programming guide. It is going to have lights on top of it to show you the status of the decoder. It has blue wires that are going to go to the 2-wire path,
okay,
black wires that are going to go to the standard solenoid, and they use regular waterproof irrigation wire connectors.
That's great. Wow. That'll save us some money. Wes, so you mentioned the decoder self-programmable. Now, do I need to buy expensive commercial valves?
No, and that's a great thing about this system as well. It uses any irrigation valve that's on the market today.
Very cool. Okay. What if I need to replace a decoder?
A replacement of the decoder, it would be cut out of the wire path. It would be replaced. You would come back to the controller. You would go through the auto address feature again, and it would plug that decoder address into a missing spot.
Wes, I like this controller. I like the features, the benefits, how it's going to help my company. How about we go install one right now?
Sounds great.